is the #1 clan in all of Clash of Clans. And no, this isn't clickbait or anything like that. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean here today. Now, #1 can mean a lot of different things, because if you go to the trophy leaderboard and go to top clans, this clan isn't on there. Actually, they're not anywhere really to be found in there. Even in the United States, they're only #2. However, this is the #1 CWL clan. That's right. We're talking CWL, more specifically Champs 1 CWL, and Project 7 had a perfect Champs 1 CWL. That's right. A perfect 105 attacks for 315 stars, including these 70 bonus stars. Well, I guess 60 because this last war hasn't ended yet. So they'll be at a total of 385. And you see 10,500 damage, which is a perfect 105 attacks. And when you look through this roster, it is stacked full of pro players. Now, I know it says 18 stars, 600. But the last war hasn't ended. It'll be 21,700 for everyone. You can see here that Stars ran 6 accounts in here. You can see Name in here running multiple accounts. You see guys like Crispy, Ghost. Just shout out to the homies Al and Fatal. Like, they're always keeping me in the loop for this kind of stuff. This is a very impressive performance, and it's not like this hasn't been done before. I'm not trying to make it out to be like they're the first clan to ever do that. I mean, just last month we had 2 clans actually put up a perfect CWL, but these guys are making waves. I've seen it all around Twitter, the rumblings going on. Let's hop in here and let's take a look at some of the attacks from their CWL and see what they're using. I'm really actually interested here in War 7. I want to see some attacks using the new rocket backpack, like this one here from Ghost. You can see, look at the timer on this one, just over 90 seconds on this attack. You can see he runs the quakes, giant arrow's gonna run through there, and here comes the Duke to the top side of the base, just gutting this base out completely. We've seen the potential that this rocket backpack can have, right? Like gutting out all these core defenses, getting the clan castle out, the revenge tower. There's just so much that you can get out. And then a lot of these guys are using the Dragon Rider totem army, especially like Stars. I think every replay that I saw of Stars, at least the few that I looked at, were of the Dragon Rider totem here. So this is definitely one of the strongest go-to attacks that these guys are using, but now we're starting to see them pairing up that rocket backpack. Now, I did get invited to check out some more rocket backpack attacks, so let me know if you guys want to see that down there in the comment section, especially in esports mode where things are even harder. Remember, this is regular war, this regular mode. This isn't even Legends, but you can see this rocket backpack absolutely crushing through here. And I'm sure, you know, some of you guys are gonna be like, oh, these are pros playing Champs 1, and of course they should be perfect. Like, even then, like, it's 105 attacks throughout the week. Not to make any mistakes or have any slip ups is very, very impressive. I mean, even the best lineups in the world, this isn't something that happens a ton. So I definitely wanted to highlight this, and I don't think we've ever had a perfect CWL on the channel. So I definitely wanted to come over here once I was invited and check it out, see what these guys are all about, and man, it is exciting. But not only that, like, these guys, they have some of the best base builders on the squad. You can see, like, Al holding 1 stars in here. Like, they're holding their own. Obviously, there's still a few more attacks in here, but it's not like they're giving up a ton of perfects here. Let's go through. I mean, they went up against Cup Up Baby. Like, if you ever look at the leaderboards, Cup Up is a pretty well-known clan, held them to 43. But again, yeah, every war, 45, all perfect throughout. And even like in our CWL at home in Mad Ram, like, we noticed, like, 43, we lost a war 43 to 43, which is insane. So it definitely feels like you have to be almost perfect here in Champs 1. As we look through this leaderboard, it's kind of insane, man. It's kind of insane, the numbers here. But what's really impressive is that they didn't give up a perfect themselves. So I think that was almost as impressive as having the full on perfect week here. I guess I shouldn't say some rocket backpack attacks, because that was the only one I found throughout the week. But one thing I noticed throughout all of these attacks is every single attack uses the Dragon Duke. Every single attack, whether it's the Dragon Rider attack, whether it's throwers, whether it's meteor golems, every single one of these guys is using the Dragon Duke, and generally they're using the stun gun and the volcanic heart there. Now, I feel like the rocket backpack is a little bit more situational, where you have to have that kind of lineup, and these guys were probably knew what they were doing and didn't want to risk losing that perfect. But another thing that I thought was impressive or not impressive, but interesting for me, because I generally save my Dragon Duke for the end of my attacks. I noticed, especially like on Star's attacks, obviously Star's way better of an attacker than I am, and I should probably be doing my homework. But he almost always starts with his Dragon Duke and kind of uses him to funnel in these Dragon Riders. I guess it makes sense with the Dragon Riders targeting the defenses. You're gonna have the Duke in there with the Angry Jelly. It's gonna create that pathing and push those Dragon Riders right up through the middle of the base. You can see like he's already got this base like kind of like a narrow straight line. Like it's like that kind of diamond style base, and pretty much all that's left is that diamond section. All the exterior of this base is all taken out, and this allows him to kind of work through here and just take advantage of that and work towards that town hall. The overgrowth is used perfectly. I mean, there's so many troops left over on this one. It's absolutely crushed, as we see here. But that was definitely something I kind of picked up as I was watching through some of these replays, as a lot of the times Dragon Duke is actually being used as an opener rather than later in the attack, like I use to support my E-Drags. Even name here with the thrower attack, we're gonna see that Dragon Duke being used. So you see just like the Dragon Duke, just how strong he is. And Dragon Duke is even replacing like the Royal Champion in a lot of these attacks, or sometimes even the King. But I am noticing, like especially in this clan, like King's gonna come in here to kind of support and provide that tanking for the Queen here for this thrower attack, and then that Dragon Duke is gonna come in just a little bit later. So, you know, the last one I said like Stars using it in the open, it's not always the open, to be clear. It was just something like I kind of picked up with that Dragon Rider attack, and I think that's just more the Dragon Rider attack that honestly I'm not familiar with, so maybe that's why it kind of caught me off guard and caught my eye, because it's not an attack I've ever really looked at. So I kind of did want to show that one off. This is pretty standard thrower stuff right here. I mean, we all know how strong the throwers are. I'm sure your defense log, if it looks anything like mine, has a ton of throwers in it. Just kind of the way things go, right? So King and Queen work down towards the bottom. Does have all those witches coming out here, but it's just mostly keeping those throwers bunched up together and then just working everything down one side. Heroes work the opposite side, and then you'll have that Dragon Duke come in to clean up. But yeah, if every single attack I looked at had a Dragon Duke on it, so it's kind of making me like second guess, because there's still comps that I'm using no Dragon Duke in, especially like on my smaller accounts, so it's kind of making me second guess it. I also think like on some of those accounts, like I don't have my Duke all the way up or the equipment all the way up, so I think that kind of factors in also. But I think it just goes to speak of how strong this hero is, that you really should be considering him for most comps, whether even ground or air comps. The Dragon Duke is going to be able to make an impact. You see everything obviously working through here. I also notice a lot of these comps running at least one revive in there also. I know I kind of switched to one revive. Again, I'm not a pro player. I'm just kind of speaking to my own experience, but just having that one revive in there, I've seen just attacks won because you had that one revive for not even just the Duke. Sometimes you revive the Queen, like Name did to here. Revive the Queen on the outside and get to that air defense to keep things working up and pushing through here. I mean, this attack was crushed and good, but you get what I'm saying here, right? These pros are on a whole different level. It's fun watching them do things, but just because they're pros doesn't mean we can't learn from what they're doing and pick up little tips and tricks. Especially, you know, like I feel like a lot of us, I don't want to say casuals, because I think I'm not super casual, but I think a lot of us kind of get stuck in our ways and don't really look for different things. So I think it is good to kind of explore the way different players play the game. If you want to see a fun one, this one here from Crispy is really, really cool. A lot of really, not necessarily a lot of variety, but there was a little bit of variation between like 3 or 4 different attacks from what I've seen. I didn't watch every single attack through here, but it was either like the Dragon Rider attack, throwers, or kind of like meteor golems with throwers. There was a couple like just straight up like meteor golem attacks as well. With this one from Crispy with the fireball, watch this fireball. This fireball is insane. Bam, right in there and just guts that core compartment out. Ah, so good seeing that. So good seeing that. But again, you see the Dragon Duke in there, and that's just a common theme. So it feels like with the Dragon Riders, obviously running the Duke in early to set that funnel is good. And then I think maybe I'm not in the wrong with me using my Dragon Duke towards the end with my Electro Dragons. I think maybe it's just all about setting that funnel and setting up the attack with that Dragon Duke on the Dragon Rider attack. Again, it's an attack that I haven't really used, so I'm not really familiar with it. But again, something that caught me off guard there with all of those attacks starting. Every attack I watched of Stars, every replay, he was always starting with his Duke. But you see this one from Crispy, man. Once you like gut up the core like this, it's pretty much GG's. He's going to be able to work around here, push everything right around. Does have that overgrowth. Here comes a Duke on the top side. So not necessarily the end of the attack, but going to support the push on the top side and kind of thin out the top of that base. You never really want to put your Duke into the mono if at all possible, because the Duke is a beefy boy. And remember, the mono does more damage based on hit points. So if you're able to get the mono out with other troops, that's always a positive thing here. So that's definitely little tips and tricks you can pick up. And you should kind of just be aware of if you are using the Dragon Duke, is he has a ton of hit points and you want to not put him in those vulnerable states. You want to get the most value out of him as possible, putting him right into a mono, unless you're going to pop off the stun gun right away. It makes it a little bit harder to get that value. I know, I know it's not actually stun gun. That's just what I call it. I like calling it stun gun. But you can see this one crushes right here through Crispy. I just really like that fireball value that he had. These guys, man, they crushed it. I didn't see any attacks that were like super close or anything. Every attack was like a convincing 3-star on all the replays that I've kind of watched. I guess I shouldn't say every single attack from Stars immediately starts with the Dragon Duke, because I think one of the most impressive things that Stars does is what he does with a flame flinger. Check this one out. Like, who would think to put their flame flinger here? There's the Guardian there, there's 2 heroes here, the monos there. Like, who would think to put their flame flinger here? But watch what he does. This is so impressive, and he just gets so much value from his siege machine, which helps set up the attack. And I think that's what makes these pro players so good, is they see things like this. They see those little values. I would never ever dare to try to put a flame flinger into a Dragon Duke right there. Now, mind you, it's not a max Duke or anything like that, but just watch the way he deals with this Duke here. The patience that Stars has on these flame flingers, it's insane. So Duke's gonna pull, he's gonna go ahead and totem the Duke right there, and then watch this. He's gonna come in, and once that Duke's locked onto the totem, he's out of range of that Inferno. He's just gonna go ahead and use an Inferno Dragon and take out one of the strongest heroes on defense right here with one single Inferno Dragon. And he's just gonna continue to work right on through there. It's just silly stuff, man. It's just silly stuff just watching these pros play. There goes the giant arrow right on through there, taking out the sweeper down there on the backside. The queen will come in and support, push through here, and then the monolith will go down as well. It's just so cool seeing it. And he's gonna go ahead and put all the dragon riders down there from the bottom. So the Duke's not actually gonna help out with the funnel. The Duke's gonna kind of support the queen over here and push her where she needs to be. But just like another way of looking at this attack. I know obviously like we're showing a lot of Stars, like who doesn't love Stars, and Stars is the easy clickbait, right? But I just love what he does with the flame flinger. It's just so impressive. Not to say that, you know, these other guys aren't doing crazy things, just, you know, when I'm scanning through the attacks, this is definitely one that stood out to me. And finally here, I wanted to show some love to the homie Fatal, who invited me over to check out this perfect CWL from Project 7. All these pro players like coming together and working through here. Just a really impressive performance, but this one's actually pretty cool. A zap thrower attack, not something you see a ton of. Usually you're seeing a lot of totems, but you do see zap throwers being used every once in a while. Zapping out there in the core, setting everything up here with that warden walk up top, everything just goes really well. Again, a huge shout out to these guys for what they were able to accomplish, coming together, putting together a squad, not having any mistake throughout the week. It's so impressive. I think like that's the Champs 1 goal, is to strive for that, and it's so much harder than you think it might be. I know a lot of us, like, we say the game's so easy and everyone's 3-starring everything, especially like in Champs and it's normal mode, but it's still impressive to not have a single mistake throughout the week. And I think that's the big takeaway here. And then this is, you know, hopefully soon we'll start to have modifiers in these higher leagues, and we'll start to see a little bit of a tougher time. Not that it needs to be a tougher time. I don't know, that's awkward. I do think the higher leagues should have modifiers, so I'm actually looking forward to that, as Supercell did announce that modifiers in new leagues will be coming eventually. I think that'll be a good thing for the game, especially the top end competition. But let me know what you guys thought of this CWL. How did your guys' CWL go? And you guys want to see more of this type of content, more pro style content on the channel, seeing what the pros are using? Do you want to see more esports style wars? Let me know all that stuff down there in the comment section. We could definitely accommodate that. I think we could definitely learn from how pros and esports players are playing the game, especially in esports mode. I think that's a big takeaway too, because you gotta remember the equipment is nerfed in esports mode as well. So I think that's something we could lean into a little bit more in the future, and we should probably gear up to, hopefully we'll have Supercell Clash of Clans announcing the world championship circuit soon, because that still hasn't been announced here in April, which is a little bit surprising, a little bit worrying, to be honest. They said that it's coming at the end of the month, but hopefully it's coming soon. You can see Swagging Out Totems here. Again, shout out to all of these guys. Absolute pleasure covering this. Shout out to them for their perfect CWL, not even their perfect war. Absolutely perfect CWL. Huge props to them. Big congratulations, all these guys through here. And I know I kind of like focused on stars a lot and some of the text, but these guys all put in a lot of good solid work throughout the week, so they all deserve props. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, don't forget to use code BASH, and don't forget to keep on clash bashing.